good afternoon, good evening. We don't know where you are, but we are so glad you chose to be with us today. It is at the top of the hour, so let's get it started. Welcome to What's New in Strucsoft for Revit 2026. Version 2.43 build 9484. And this webinar is going to be presented by Poria and Shima, and we will talk a little bit about their background very soon. But my name is Brenda Rujo, and I'm part of the marketing team here at Great Tech. We're so excited to have you with us today for today's session. Before we get started, just a quick reminder that the session is being recorded and the webinar is going to be shared afterwards. All right. So, like I said, I'm Brenda Rujo, Regional Go-to-Market Marketing Manager here at Great Tech, and I am joined by Annalisa Montenegro, who is the Regional Go-to-Market Marketing Director. It's a mouthful here at Great Tech, and the presenters, Shima and Poria, who are our specialists for today. Before we get started, here at Great Tech, our mission really is to help AEC professionals work more efficiently, right, and collaborate more effectively, deliver high quality outcomes across the entire project lifecycle. And beyond being a global Autodesk partner, we also develop a portfolio of purpose-built technologies that extend, automate, optimize workflows that you rely every day, right? So on the screen, you're going to see a snapshot of a few of the key solutions in the Great Tech portfolio, including Strucsoft that you are familiar with already. Following the acquisition of Microsoft Resources that happened last April, Great Tech now offers a broader suite of design and construction technology solutions through a network of trusted partners. And this expanded ecosystem allows us to really deliver even more value to our clients, right? To you, helping teams collaborate more effectively, streamline workflows, and really stay ahead in a rapidly evolving industry. So if you have any questions about any of these solutions, Bluebeam, Autodesk, Chaos, Rhino, please feel free to reach out to us. A couple of housekeeping. We are recording the sessions, as I mentioned, and you're able to revisit the content that we're going to be presenting at any time. You're going to be receiving an email to access the on-demand video through our resources. And also, if you have any questions, there is a Q&A box that you're welcome to drop your questions there, and then we're going to answer them at the end of this presentation. And before we leave, right, this webinar, we want to make sure that you are on top of everything that we have in the life of Great Tech. So please feel free to visit greattech.com/us/calendar to view our upcoming webinars. Got a couple very good stuff coming up. So before further ado, I would like to introduce you to the presenters for today's webinar. We have Poria, who is a product owner and technical solution specialist at Great Tech with extensive experience in BIM and construction management. He holds a bachelor's degree in architecture from Azad University in Tehran and a master of engineering in building engineering from Concordia University, and with a strong focus on BIM and construction management. Poria is a PMP certified professional and PMI member, bringing a structured lifecycle based approach to delivering construction projects from initiation to through closeout. He has hands-on experience. In and expertise with industry-leading BIM and construction technology platforms, including Autodesk Revit, AutoCAD, Strucsoft, Navisworks, Revisto, Procore, Bluebeam, and Autodesk Construction Cloud. Poria supports project teams by developing and managing BIM execution plans, improving coordination, performing clash detection, quantity takeoffs, and enabling collaborative workflows that enhance productivity. Pretty impressive background. And we have Shima, who is a technical support specialist at Strucsoft. where she works closely with AEC professionals to resolve technical challenges, optimize BIM workflows, and maximize efficiency within Revit-based project environments. Also, with hands-on experience spanning architecture and construction engineering, Shima really bridges the gap between software capabilities and real-world project needs, translating complex tools into clear, practical solutions. She holds a master's of engineering in construction engineering and management from Concordia University, where she specializes in project management, cost estimation, risk analysis, and quality control. She also has earned a master's of architecture from Islamic Azad University. And her ability to collaborate effectively with clients, contractors, subtrades, and authorities has been really instrumental in delivering projects on time and within budget. So long story short, you guys are on great hands because these are very knowledgeable experts that we have here. So without further ado, let me pass it along to Poria and let's get it started.
Hi everyone, this is Poria. Thanks for joining the session today. So I'll be posting this session and we'll be talking about the new changes that we have in the new build with Strucsoft. I'm going to share some slides with you guys here, so bear with me please. I just want to start sharing my screen and go ahead with the rest of the process. So I would just like to know whenever you guys can see my screen, if you guys just could
yes,
let me know. You can see my screen?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the latest changes that we have on the new build, the new release that we had. It's called Danny. And there are a couple of changes that I've highlighted most, I would say, significant ones. And I'm going to share all that with you. So just allow me a second. I will just start sharing the please let me bring in the presentation file here. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, now we can.
Perfect. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, now, so we're going to talk about the version 2.43 and build 9484. And as we go along with the presentation file, I will be also sharing my screen on my laptop to show the live environment in Revit. Let's go start with the agenda today. So we're going to talk about the properties preview window. We are having some changes, some new enhancement on the user interface and the way that user interacts with the functions that we have in Strucsoft. And next, we would be going on deeper illustration of some of these tools to see how these changes are changing the workflow of creating the framing of your walls. We are having some improvements on the modified generated tool, and then there are some general improvements that I've just taken some of those into this presentation. I'm going to show you that in Revit environment as well. And then we have developed a wall analysis tool. It is, I would say, it's at the early stages of development, but however, some point it is, fairly developed for simple to moderate complexity, complex walls. And after that, we'll go through the floor module and what have we currently added for the truss form for the floors. So we'll talk about that. And also the last topic would be about the floating licenses and the changes that we had made on the licensing system. So starting with the properties preview window, the first change that we have created is we have added a preview system that incorporates your properties tab, and through that you guys can be able to basically manipulate and change the settings and configurations of your panels. Now we also have kept the old properties for the people who have more experience with that older version. So both are available, but at some point the older version would be basically removed. But however, I will just share my other screen now to show you the Revit file. All right. Here you go. All right. So I believe that you guys can see my screen right now. So let's start with the preview tab. So we know that the Strucsoft plugin is right over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on the create button. It's a very, very heavy file, so it might take a few seconds to bring in the panel creation tab. It's actually a live project. All right, it's almost there. Okay. So if you remember, we had the miscellaneous tab in the older version, and right now we have made it more simplified, enhanced the user experience, the user interface, and we have replaced that with the features tab over here. So if you just click on that, you'll be able to see the panel selection over here that gives you a preview of the type of wall that you're having under selection, and also it will detect the layer that goes into this wall. It gives you a preview of that panel and how it's going to look with the current configurations. And over here, you would see the familiar functions that we had in the older version: studs, panel direction, tracks, and all the way to fastener counts, all of the features that we had.
Sorry, Puriya,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
We cannot see the properties tab.
You can't see the properties tab. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. Just a second. I believe that the issue is with the screen share. I'm just going to start screen share. And okay, now I see that. All right. It should be. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, but the properties.
Okay. Yeah,
no.
I closed the properties intentionally, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna open that again. But thanks for letting me know. I believe that I had the wrong selection for sharing my screen. I was sharing the window instead of the entire screen, so I just switched that. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. All right, so let's have that conversation about it. So we were having some feedbacks that, and also some ideas to make this make the whole features more kind of like congested, but in a good way, so that the user can really focus on the options that they want, see what options there with more visual, with a better visual experience. So just as an example, with this one, the user could just drag this and leave it over here, and then over here under current features, these are the changes that a user can make on the panel, and basically through that the user can make the changes. And beside that, the existing clients might remember that we are also having some manufacturer options for these functions. For example, we have some patented versions for studs or for tracks that is available through clicking on the name that you'll see over here. As I hover my cursor over here, you see that it says double click to show options. So if I just double click, it will bring in those options that are ready to use for the user. And if you want to add more functions over here, you could just simply drag and drop over here and working on this. And also, if this workspace is not really the way that you would like to see, you can always just expand or reduce the size of it. You can also float maybe the preview option over here, or maybe just dock it, whichever that pleases you. So that was the general idea of how this change is eventually going to replace the older properties tab. But in terms of the functionalities, everything pretty much remains the same. The way that they work is just how the client will interact with the user can interact with the tools. So I would say that would be about that, and I'm just going to close that. And then as soon as I close and cancel, that will be closed. So the next topic that I would like to share with you guys with the preview window. Still, we are talking about the preview window. We had some enhancements and improvements on the live viewing capability in the marker managers. So we've started with the LGS Kings only framing for the proof of concept, and then we have developed this previewing tool also for the other marker opening markers, such as the LGS default non-bearing opening marker, and also for the truss symmetrical V. I see that my Revit is almost clashing. This is a very, very huge file that I have open, but however, I have Revit 2025 open as backup. So I'm just hopeful that this won't crash. Let's just give it a few seconds. But if it does not go right, I have to just close it and continue on with Revit 2025. Maybe it's best to just close this. All right. Okay, so let's hop into Revit 2025. And Shima, thank you so much. That was her suggestion because she knew that this model that I had open was too heavy. She said, you better open this one. So here we go. Yeah, it's crashed. All right, so I'm just going to showcase that in Revit 2025. Before that, I will just go ahead and load data because I want to go ahead in the market managers and show you some of the changes that we have on the previewing for our opening markers. So you know that we have to load data before before opening the opening marker, so let's just have that loaded up. Okay, apply to all. Perfect. So let's go ahead and let's go click on Marker Manager. Perfect. So over here, as I said, we started with the LGS Kings only framing for proof of concept. We have developed that preview option for the LGS, and the newest development that we had, it was on LGS default non-bearing. It's best to duplicate this one before you work on it, but for just sake of illustration, I'm just going to double click on that to open up the LGS default non-bearing. So as you see over here, this preview option has been added, and so through this, the user can basically see the preview live, and this is currently still ongoing under development. It is mostly developed there, and it's working with most of these options over here, except the bearing beam. I'm just going to show an example of adding a member. For example, maybe a header member, and you can easily add that, and then it will appear that right over there. Or maybe you want to have a secondary sill. You can simply add that over here, and as you see, it will be showcased in the live preview over here. Apart from that, you can see this in the 3D as well. Users can just go ahead and click on the 3D modify configuration, so that this through this one, user can basically have a 3D view of the model and use the 3D cube over here to basically see the changes in the live form. So that was pretty much it for the LGS default non-bearing. But as I said, we are developing this for the other options that are available over here. I believe this one is also available for the truss header system, symmetrical. For the V is also available. So user can also see that changes over there. We are having many of these on agenda for the next release, but most likely that the multiple built-up system member system would be the next one that we would be having in the next release. So on that note, let's go back on this presentation file. Right. Okay. All right, I hope you guys can see my screen. So we have talked about the marker manager and how user can be able to see those changes in there in the live environment. Now, the next one, which I wanted to show you guys, is the changes that we had made on the create menu, and how eventually that is going to be the way that user will use the framing tools. And let's see that in Revit environment, so we can get a better idea. All right, so I have this wall over here. I'm just gonna give it a value like that, and I'm just gonna click on it, click on create. So as I click on the wall to create the panel, the new create basically control panel will be detecting the thickness of the wall, the layers that goes into the wall, and user can be able to also see the layers that goes into that wall right over here in the panel settings. These are familiar options in the general info tab in the properties menu, the first tab before the structural tab. But this one from miscellaneous tab has been added over here. I believe it gives a better viewing experience for the user. So through clicking on the template, user can be able to select the template that he wants to select for this framing, and through that you can see that this layer has been highlighted, so that will be applied for the only layer in this wall, which is the 8-inch structural. However, I know the wall should be 6-inch, but this is just as an example. So that's about it. You can just hit apply or OK, and that will be applied to the panel, to the wall. It's better to just switch this to a 6-inch. Now, I'm going to have another wall drawn over here, maybe just a 10 feet long wall, 10 feet height. And I'm just going to go ahead, click edit, and then say 1/8 of an inch plywood, and basically I'm gonna have this one. I'm gonna give it a 6-inch, and I'm gonna add a layer. Say this is a soft straight layer. Let's say it's a 5/8 inch for the sheathing layer. I'm going to hit OK. So the goal here is to basically merge in the the older, basically to change the older method of having the multi-layer walls. If you remember, we had to create the multi-layer walls through the wall multi-layer system that in a bigger screen locates over here. I'm using my laptop, but that one, the goal is to just merge those in one environment, less clicks and less going here and there, so user can focus on the whole process in one control panel. So I'm just going to click on create, and then as you notice, the panel will basically detect the structural layer and also the substrate layer. The user can basically go ahead, click on template, select the preferred template for their structural layer, and also for the substrate layer, user can go ahead, click, and select the template that you have for the sheathing. Right now I'm just using a default template that comes in with your installation. So I'm gonna click on select. Yeah, 2025 is not really cooperating with me here. Click create. All right, let's go with the substrate sheathing. All right, so since I'm just using a default one, I'm just using the sheathing from over here, and then I'm going to click on features, and through the general settings, through layout settings, opening settings. So these are the same exact settings that we had when we were creating a sheathing for the sheathing layer. So in the general settings, these are pretty much the same settings that we had before. These go for the sheathing family, the way that the sheathing extension looks, and also the layout, if it's horizontal, if it's vertical, and also if you have nailer machinery, you can also use this option to basically set those settings. Machinery such as javelin or other machineries for an automated sheathing layer. Now, I'm just going to keep that as is for default, and I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm just going to go ahead and check that in 3D. I'm going to change the visual settings. As you see, the sheathing will appear over there, and you don't really have to go ahead and do that in two separate stages. So that is pretty much it. All right. So, and by the way, for this, I would like to also mention that new procedure for shop drawings also will be to have the, just going to go ahead and create a default one. All right. Through this method, you are going to need to have your sheathing, basically the shop drawing for the sheathing, and also for the structural layer created under multi-layer. We eventually going to eliminate the standard one, so it's highly recommended to use multi-layer for creating your shop drawings for your structural layer and also the sheathing layer. So multi-layer it is. So that was one point about the template mapping in the create menu. And user can still use the the older templates that they have. They just need to use the template map and use quick create. That should still work fine with in the new projects using the older templates. So we have covered this part, and the next basically improvement I can say is to the modify generated tool. So this one is kind of like a change that we had, and I'm just going to show you that over here. So modify generated tool right now over here. Going to add one member to the left side and hit OK. So this is the prompt that has been basically developed to allow the user to determine whether this whole panel requires a regeneration, or user just wants to add that member alone without touching the rest of the panel. So I would say a lot of benefits to this. It might seem minor, but it will probably save some time in panel regeneration, especially in the panels that include, less of complex components. If it's a simple panel and you just know that creation of this extra member is not going to affect on many other components in the panel. Let's say there's a backing member, a horizontal member, and you want to regenerate the whole panel to have an updated version, then I would say regeneration would be a factor to consider when you're deciding on this. But if you're just not really, willing to regenerate the whole thing, clicking on no will just keep the whole panel as is, and it's just going to create that newly added member, and that would be created over here. So that would be that. So let me get to that. Yeah, so that would be for the modify generated tool. As I said, the complexity of the panel, the components that goes into the panel determine whether a user wants to regenerate the whole panel or that's not the decision. We also had some other general improvements. I couldn't really put them under any specific, umbrella for these changes that we had. So there were some changes with basically we add a new feature for horizontals. We also had some modifications, some optimizations for selection tab, and I'm going to show you in a bit. And also there was some, just change of location for some of the buttons, some of the tools that we had for the multi-layer wall. And I'm going to show you that in a bit. So let's go and take a look. So starting with the first one, the horizontals. I'm just going to click on the panel, go open the properties preview, and I'm going to just go ahead in the features. I can also type in what I want to find in here, and just drag it open and drop it over here. I could just reduce the size of that. So the newly added option is to add a horizontal only at the first bay and at last bay. So these options was not there before. We just added that. And we can just go ahead and apply. Okay. Okay. All right. So after, my bad. So after we have select this one, we also need to make sure that the settings have been added and saved. So this one, I'm just going to call it test. I'm going to hit add. And then I'm just going to hit OK. All right. So that was the step that I missed. So you have to save that as we used to do that. But since it was minimized, I just couldn't see that. Anyways, so here we can add that at the first bay and the last bay. So in this case, it's just, kind of like faster. You don't have to select, the one and then S1 and then create that under one configuration and go and create another one for E2 and S. When it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, S7, first bay and last bay. It will just make things more easier, and it's just gonna create the results faster. So that was one thing that was added for the horizontals. The next option, basically the next one is not an option. We basically had some optimizations on the selection tab. So if you remember, we had so many options available in the selection tab, many of which was basically doing the same, function that Revit provides. So we have kind of like eliminated those, that just optimized it and narrowed it down into two options that we have over here. Select non-framed walls, which will allow the user, this is nothing new, it was there, but these are the two options that are kept. Select non-framed walls. It will just detect the walls that are not framed throughout your model. And then select panel members is also a very, very useful tool. It's highly recommended to use. So a live example of it would be if you do a mass select over here, since there is that cropped view from half A of this floor plan view, the top track is not really selected when I do that. Also the horizontal, so that means that the selection is not encompassing those. So using that selection option would basically allow you to have everything selected at one click, and that way you have everything in your selection. So that was another change in the user interface. And also the last one in this category of general improvements would be placing the quick create option for wall multilayer over here. And also under operations, we had moved and placed the place join for the multi-layer walls under the operations over here. So again, the ultimate goal moving forward in the next releases would be eventually merge in this quick create options that we see over here and over here, and just be able to do everything in one shot instead of going here and there and to add complications. So that being said, those are a couple of improvements that are kind of like noticeable, and it's good to pay attention to. So those were discussed. As I said, the next releases, we are eventually going to merge the quick create function to have a more coherent and user-friendly environment. The next tool would be wall analysis, which is basically, I would say it's still currently under ongoing development. However, some improvements been made on creating the preliminary function that allows the user to run a wall analysis, which this is especially unique for users who are having advanced design subscription. But I'm just going to show you I have on my Revit 2025, unfortunately, I only have Strucsoft Pro Suite, so I can't really run that engineering analysis, but I'm going to show you the wall analysis configuration settings to show you how that looks. So to close out this guy. Oops. Let's cross fingers. Okay. I think that it's probably it is going to crash. So to keep the webinar going, I would just go ahead, close my Revit, and I'm going to jump over the latest topic, which is, it doesn't require Revit to show that. And then in the meantime, I will reopen Revit and just show you 2-3 more slides to basically wrap up today's session. So let me just close this, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump to the latest topic. Okay, so let's talk about the licensing system. But before doing that, let me just go ahead and double click on Revit so I can have that open. All right, so we are having some changes on the licensing. So we are having the floating licenses back, and for the new clients, for the new users who are subscribing, they will be getting the floating licenses. But for the existing clients who are already using Strucsoft and they're having a Strucsoft subscription, their renewal will be when the renewal date is upon. So when you're renewing your subscription, you will be eventually going to upgrade your licensing system to the floating system. So depending on your build number and the Revit here that you're using, this upgrade is basically different. So we have three methods, three tailored methods to fix this issue. If there's no issue, it's basically to prevent any complications, to make sure that we have full compatibility between your builds that you're using and the new licensing system. So, and it is basically recommended that if you're in mid-project, if you're having a project in hand and it's not completed yet, it is recommended to stay with the current build, and then after that you can upgrade, unless that there is a necessity. If that's the case, I would say it's not forbidden to do that. You can basically try to upgrade your licensing as well, and you just need to just contact us for a direct support to have a successful upgrade for your system. So I prepped just an over uh, uh, just some idea of how it's going to go. So for users who are using 9116, 9253, 9370, they're having that on Revit 2024, 2025, 2026 or newer. There is the upgrade will be through License Installation Center, which is a cloud-based type of thing. It's exactly when you are putting your activation keys. So that would be the way for those people who are using those builds. For the older builds in 8560, 8675, 8740, 8844, 9020 with Revit 2024, there is a license patching method that you can use. I have also I will also share a file, a PDF file, so that you can download that. And there's a step-by-step process of how to basically go about this update. For users using 9021, there's a hotfix installation method which requires you to basically manually delete some of the basically some of the files that are in there, and then you can reinstall it. I am not able to upload that file over here, but I will just provide that to my colleague to see how we can provide that to you guys. And in the meantime, I'm just going to open a model here. We have 2 slides left to complete, so bear with me for a few more minutes, and I will share that with you. Okay. All right. So let's go back to that. Perfect. So that step by step procedure will be shared with you shortly. So to just show you a glimpse of it, it's going to be 3 different methods to go about it. This is for the people who are using these builds. This is the cloud-based activation, which is the simplest one. Just a few clicks, 3 steps, and that's it. You're good. There's a license patching procedure for people who are using these builds on Revit 2024, which is a licensing patch step. It's explained over here with examples, so you can, yourself. And also there is the second which is, so yeah, so this is the first method. The license patch is the second method, and that's about it. So this will be shared with you guys shortly. All right. So let's go back to that presentation file. I believe there are 2 slides left. We're gonna just see that, and we'll be good to go. All right. Okay. So modify generated, general improvement. You're talking about the wall analysis. So I'm just going to have a here. I'm just going to change the visual for that. And switch to let's go over here. All right. All right, so the template is set on default, 6-inch. Click on that, close it. All right, so the wall engineering tool. So I'll start with the wall analysis configurations. So over here, user can basically add the loads. So over here, you can see the live load, the dead loads, and the vin loads. These are basically the info that you can see over there. User can also add the partial loads, the live load or the dead load over here. You can basically select where you are having these loads. I'm just going to go ahead and just add a few numbers over here. And then you can also add point loads at specific points. Let's say on E2, you have like, I don't know, you can add that over there and click OK. And then you would have a visual look at that. And also you would be able to, let me add this live load, start to end. Okay. And you will see a visual look at how it's being represented over here. And then eventually, as I said, if you have the advanced design, you can run that and see the calculations and engineering analysis for that. So that would be cover this one. The wall analysis, as I said, it's still ongoing and it's working on simpler panels, simpler in terms of less of complexities, and it's basically ongoing. So the last one would be updates to the floor. So let's see an example for that one. I'm just gonna have a floor drawn over here. So the changes that we have for the floors is basically we have added this perpendicular truss system, which was not available before for the tracks, and we have enabled that. So user can basically save that as a template right now and use that in the future panel creations cases. And also, yeah, that would be it. So let's go ahead and see an example. So I just have this floor over here. I'm going to switch to the floor module. I'm just going to click on create to create this floor. I'm going to use a truss, a B2B for this floor. And I'm going to hit that frame it now. I'm going to hit create. Pick it up. Okay, now I'm gonna go click on properties. So over here in the member, I'm gonna go into tracks. I'm gonna double click, and over here, you can basically go about having your preferred settings. For the truss category, I'm gonna have the floor selected. You have the truss type, you have the display unit, and also you can add the member sizes over here. It's a list. It's based on a ascending format, so you can select any of these and move it top or bottom in this list, and also some other settings that exist over here. So these were we had most of these options available for the roof.
Sorry,
Truss.
Puriya.
Yes.
One of the audience cannot really understand when you cover your mouth because she's
Oh,
reading
okay.
your lips. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No,
Okay.
thank you.
My bad. Okay, thanks for letting me know. So I was just saying that this truss feature for floors enables the user to add the perpendicular truss for the tracks and joists. So I'm just going to go keep that as is, and I'm going to go click OK, and you can save that as a template now, but I'm going to just skip that and hit OK. All right. So let's go take a look at that floor module in 3D view. I'm just going to hide this. As you can see, that would be the placement of that B2B truss form. All right. So on that note, I would say this one was about the floors and the improvement on that. The next one was about the licensing, which we kind of like skipped. And I would say that would include my presentation. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate your patience. I had some technical difficulties throughout with Revit and my computer, so thank you so much for being patient with me. Appreciate it.
Yay, thanks, Buria. And just right in time too. We have like about a couple of minutes to like take some Q&A. I know, well, first of all, thank you for that in-depth presentation.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, and secondly, Shima, I know you have been answering a lot of questions in the background too, so want to thank you for all of those. So first thing first, right? I just wanted to find out. So for those that are currently using Strucsoft right now and want to download the latest version, I just wanted to find out how to go about that. And for those of you who were looking, you can download it by going to the client portal. And I shared the article where you can download them. And I am going to also share that direct link as well. And Shima, can you just confirm that that's indeed correct? Yeah?
Yes, sure.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. And then I know there were a lot of questions that came in, but Shima, were there others that you want to call out? So the rest of the team here, hear
I
about?
think I already responded all, but we got two more questions. Can we use this build for 2024? Yes, you can.
So let me just like ask if I may. So you're saying that for the Revit 2026, this particular session, you can use it for the Revit 2024? So you don't
Yes.
have to have the latest version. Okay. Okay.
And in your Strucsoft, in the first menu, if you open that up, you can find change log, and you can get this PDF for the whatever is new in the latest build. You can find it in the change log.
Excellent. Oh, that's what you were sharing earlier. Yes, perfect. Thank you. And is there a PDF documentation of this build? We don't have the PDF documentation, Paul, but if you did look in the link I sent you, there's an article that actually also covered the new release of Revit that we had shared with you, with also screen captures as well. They're not exactly the same way that Poria had described it with you. So that's one thing. And then secondly, you can also review this recording. We'll have it ready in a few hours, and you can go back to the Great Tech website. And from there, from the events, you can actually go and look at the on-demand page where you can view this recording. And again, if it's not there later on today, you'll most likely will have it by tomorrow. And again, I just wanted to explain, you can find it by going to the calendar, and I'm going to add that on the link. And then from there, just click on the on-demand webinar so you can view this recording by tomorrow. And I'm sorry, it's already 2 minutes past 2 o'clock. We want to be, respectful of everybody's time. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all your attendance over today. And if you have additional questions that you wanted to ask, Korea, did you and Shima, did you want them to email you, or did you want them to fill out the contact form so that they can get back to us?
Email works for me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your email address on the chat
Yeah,
box too?
sure.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know we want to support you and make sure that you are transitioning really well on this particular new release, and see if you have any questions when you apply this as well. And we all know Revit 2027 is coming out in a few months, so we just got to play catch up when that happens. But again, I want to thank Puria for doing this presentation. Much appreciated. Shima, likewise, and Brenda for doing the moderating and the introductions earlier on today. So on behalf of Great Tech and Strucsoft, we want to thank you all for joining us today. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.